60 kilometer per hour. Problema nito, and you must agree with me, that the rails are quite aged. Most of the rails, maybe doon pa yan sa panahon ni Marcos, Imelda. Nandiyan pa. Ngayon, sabi ni Tugadi, kaya pagbigay sa akin, sabi ko, 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. Sabi ko, Art, sigurado ka makahold ang rail yan? Baka maputol yan, magdiretso yung train sa Cavite. To diretso sa Cavite, maglipad doon kay Tolentino. Oh, bakit may train dito sa Tagaytay? It's quite fast. Quite fast, 60 kilometers per hour, and you're pulling something that's heavy. When it really moves, mawala ng ano, it moves with the speed at a heavy thing, at a great speed. Mahirap mong sumasadsad kasi mabigat. And reduce headway time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Mahina lang tayo ng plano ni Tugati, mahina lang tayo ng 1 minute. Sa Hong Kong, 2 minutes, kanya 3 minutes. Art, ambisyoso ka. Kaya mo kayo ito. Specifically for the LRT, the operating hours shall be extended from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. Kasi marami pa mga bata ang uwi niyan. And to absorb more passengers, delays in the procurement of additional trains shall be addressed soonest. Now, yan ang sinasabi ko. If you want the long way, fine. Wala akong problema. Sabihin ninyo na doon ang we go the normal way if you are able to make purchases. Ang maganda nito, I have signed the executive order sa aming FUI. Naunahan ko kayo. Yung inyo na, nandoon na sa akin. Tapos na ako. Ilabas ko na. It will be out today. Alam mo, sabi ko, unahan ko dating kongreso, puro mayayabang yung mga dyan. We grab there's a stealing one's thunder. Kaya unahan na natin. So, we shall also pursue rail projects in Metro Manila at the major key points and the country, including the Mindanao Rail Project. Hindi ako nagyayabang, pero totoo talaga to. Depende sa federal, but 6 years, lalabas talaga ito, I assure you, because it's going to materialize. Rail projects, the about transit system, the Cebu transit system, the North and South Luzon Railways, and the Panay Railways project. Tama? Panay. Taga saan si ano? Panay. Panay ang bigay natin para sabihin naman Senator Delon, binakbait ka dito. Malagyan daw yung yung island mo ng train. May tawa pa. Binabakbait ka dito. Sumbong man yan. Tingnan mo yan. Different approaches are also being considered to decongest NAIA, including the possible transfer of general aviation. Na itong, I will, hindi, ang style ko kasi, ganito, hindi naman ako, I'm not steeped into formalities. Itong of general aviation, alam mo kung sino tiyatamaan yan? Kayong mayayaman. Kayong may mga helicopter pati aeroplano, ilipat ko kayo. Alam mo yung general aviation, yung mga Learjets, sa mga kumpanya, ilagay ko kayo sa Batanes para wala masyadong air traffic. No, I'm offering Sangli Point. Kasi kailangan ko isang runway. I can make a new runway there, sabi ng mga aviation experts. But tumbok niyan is the Merville subdivision. Baka isa pa akong runway dito sa Metro Manila. But if not, then it's going to be Clark. But on a condition that we would have a fast rail. Sabi ko kaya, something like 1 hour of travel, sabi ko kay Tugadi, is not acceptable. Make a rail there, bago, marami na ko pa eh. It's the vow of the day is the bullet train. Ilagay mo yan sa Pilipino na driver, so toy talaga kayo doon. Maglampas kayo. The Clark Airport can be utilized to shift some operations of our domestic and international airlines. Moreover, a one-stop shop will be established within the civil aviation complex for the benefit of the overseas Filipinos. Ito, mangyari nito. To utilize the Clark Airport, it is necessary to establish yung mga, well, you have a rail to connect. Tapos na yan, itaas mo na kayo, gitagalog ko na. In the area of environment, the military is directed to intensify its makinig kayo kasi gitawa dyan, support role against illegal logging, illegal mining. Diyan pa naman si Gina Lopez. And other destructive practices that aggravate the devastation of our natural resources. I have to protect the country. Many are complaining against the appointment of Gina Lopez. But si Gina, pati ako, we share the same paradigm. The interest of the country must come first. But hindi ko naman sinasabi, there's a law allowing mining. Gina Lopez and I are just telling you, follow government standards. Do not destroy the environment. Follow it to a T. Wala tayong problema. Just pay the correct taxes, follow the standards. Gina Lopez is just doing her job. You know, she is really a crusader. So, that is how I would describe her persona. Crusader. Kaya, sabi ko, tama yan. Kaya, bakit? Nandiyan ba si Ma'am Gina Lopez? Secretary Lopez? Ganito yan. Pumunta siya sa Davao. Gabi na mga 1 o'clock because on the early days of my, but I was, hindi pa ako nag-vote. Marami na napuntahan. Ito, felicitations, congratulations. Si Ma'am pumunta twice. Every time she shows me the degradation of ito na. Tapos, 2 oras naman, mukhang hindi na matapos, sabi ko, Ma'am. Ma'am, do not be offended. Totoo man. Huwag kang magalit kay, it's the truth. So, mag-alas 3 na, you ruddy this man, tapos, extemporaneous na, parang congressman, ito, Ma'am. Kung Ma'am, mag-alas 4, Ma'am, ano kaya kung ikaw na lang ang Dina? Bigla rin siya nagsagot ka, totoo ka? Namasik ka ma. Hindi yung, Siya, I will ask I'll consult my family and ask my, nila. Following day, tawag siya kay may 80 bong. Sinabong, okay na, tinanggap na. Sabi ng pamilya ko, okay na. Sabi ko, ay, bantay kayong lahat. But, I would not be appointing somebody who's alien to my thinking. I would take in somebody who shares my horizons in life. Especially yung degradation ng Tama yan, she's a crusader and she will continue. And dito naman lagay is, the DNR is likewise directed to review all permits granted to the mining, logging, and other environmental sensitive activities to ensure compliance with government standards. And if warranted, ito na yung pinakamaganda, amend, suspend, or revoke permits. Go ahead. I'd like to thank God that I had this opportunity, really. I never thought umabot ako dito. I've always had that crank sa isip ko, mahirap itong Kaya itong Laguna Lake, naubos ng mga, wala na ang fisherman. Yun na lang the difference between one big fish pen to the other. Yun na lang ang sa mga tao. Makita mo sa plane, every time I go to Davao, I pass by that lake there. Every time kita ko, talagang wala ng And the fishermen are complaining about the loss. Talagang wala na sila. Kasi ang maliit na lugar, yun lang ang kanila. So dito, pinadaan ko lang a diplomatic way that the Laguna Lake shall be transformed into a vibrant economy zone showcasing ecotourism by addressing the negative impact of watershed destruction, land conversion, and pollution. Ito yung nilagay ko. Pero this is what I'm telling you. The poor fishermen will have priority in its entitlements. Order to Gina is, ayusin mo ma'am. Huwag mo namang ipitin, but they have to reduce the areas of occupation. They cannot have their cake and eat it. Sila na yung may pera, sila na yung, this must stop. So, kung isa tanong sa kung sinong may-ari niyan, simple lang, mga general, mga mayor, governor, baka congressman. I mean, this is not personal. This is something which I feel that I must do because it is the right thing to do. To have adequate disposal facilities for Metro Manila garbage, the final closure and rehabilitation of the Carmona sanitary landfill shall be pursued, while the adoption of appropriate waste-to-energy facilities will be explored. Marami yan. The technology is coming in very fast. In the area of governance, there's a need to strengthen our efforts along this line. Taas mo na. Mataas yung paragraph na yan. Ito. Select the best answer dito. Ang taas nito. Huh? Mabubuang ka. To better manage public information, a law should be passed, I'm addressing to Congress, to create the People's Broadcasting Corporation, replacing PTV4, the government-run TV station, which now aims to replicate international government broadcasting networks. Teams from these international news agencies, I'd like to mention that those interested, BBC, are set to visit the country soon to train people from government-run channels to observe, ito ang gusto ko, total pera naman ng tao, to observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance. The Government's Bureau of Broadcast Services, better known as the Radyo ng Bayan, shall undergo upgrading to make it financially viable and dependable for accurate and independent and enlightening news and commentary. Radyo ng Bayan will be integrated with the PBC. As we are presently setting up a presidential communications satellite office in Davao City, PBC will also put up broadcast hubs in the Visayas and Mindanao. Davao City will also be the first site with the first Muslim channel called as Salam Television, and the first LUMAD channel. The PCO shall coordinate with the Office of the Executive Secretary and Presidential Legal Counsel in implementing the recently approved EO on the freedom of information. This is the executive order. It's out as an example on the part of our executive branch to make transparency and integrity as yardsticks in government performance, savings, and expenses, while engaging the public to be vigilant and to participate in government programs and projects. The PCO, in coordination with the Executive Secretary, is drafting the administrative order on the Presidential Task Force on Media Killings. This government does not condone violence and repression of media. The bona fide media, sometimes they pronounce it bona fide, but whatever the thing is, the bona fide media has always been our partner for change. Di medyo klaro yan. Anong gawin mo sa hindi bona fide media? Yan ang problema. To address backlogs, unlock prosecutorial effectiveness and efficiency, the investigation and case management processes shall be streamlined, including those for illegal drugs and heinous crimes. To eradicate the prevalent cultures of fear and silence that they have founded our justice system, I ask Congress, you, to enact the whistleblower protection law, while the present witness protection program shall be strengthened. Hirap maging presidente, maski dito lang. The number of lawyers and support staff and the PAO, that is the Public Assistance Office, regional and districts, shall be increased to provide Indians with more access to counsels. At this stage, I also have directed the DILG to undertake nationwide information and campaign on federalism in partnership with various alliances and with LGOs, civil society, grassroots, and faith-based organizations. Hinto muna ako dito, itong federalism. Ayaw ko itong tama ako. Alam mo, itong bayan natin, if I may just repeat, I know that you know, in 1521 or 1526, Magellan landed in Leyte. Tapos, kumari ko man ito, damat Maria. Mindanao was already Islam by 100 years. So, ano ito? It's an imperialism thing. There's a historical injustice committed against the Moro people. We have to correct it. But it is well nigh impossible now. Kaya kayo mga kapatid kong mga Moro, alam naman ninyo, ako ay mixed. Migrant ang tatay ko ron. So, some ay mixed blood ako. Moro, pati Christian. But, you know, intindihin na lang natin ito, that we cannot return to you all yung nangkuha ng mga Amerikano, Espanyol, pati yung mga Pilipino, mga kapitalista, those who exploited Mindanao when that thing, sloganeering, go to Mindanao because it is a land of promise. With the vast entry of so many people, basically coming from the Visayas, karoon tayo ng, we cannot solve it the way you want it to be. We have to understand each other, then you have to live with each other. But we'll try. Ang sinasabi ko nang babalik ako, dahil ako sa federalism, both Ms. Suarez, Sema, and all, at least the political leaders ng Mindanao will agree to it. We do not, remember that ako yung, hindi ko dinidikdik yung masyadong Abu Sayyaf because it is really connected with the first talks between Miswari, the president, subsequently to President Marcos, and until now, the only way they said that we can have is, yung BBL, ibigay na natin. Minus the things that you do not want, yung constitutional issues. Tanggalin muna natin. Ibigay ko yung area. Ay, wala natin, nandyan na yan eh. So I ask you, pass it minus the constitutional issues that are contentious. Bigay na natin at when the federal system comes, isali mo na sa package together with Ms. Wari. That is the solution for Mindanao. Nothing else. Believe me, nothing else will do. Please sleep on it, ponder on it, because that's the only way to proceed. On the clamor of our citizens for timely issuance of Philippine passports, the government shall work towards amendment of the 1996 passport law to lengthen the validity of the passports from the current 5 years to 10 years. Total, kayo naman ang magagawa ng batas. You're the ones who will pass the law. Even if you make it good for 30 years, okay ako. Bahala ka. Basta stretch a little bit because 5 years is just really simply on a regular basis. Matagal pa naman itong passport. Mag-apply ako ng mga 10 days. Alam mo, I'd like to call the attention of Secretary Yasay. If you go to Davao, look back doon look at the back, likod ng itong mall, malaking mall doon. Sige, pangalanan lang natin, SM. Doon, yung mga tao, nandyan sa pavement, natutulog. For the many times nadaan ako na walang ulan, doon yan sila. Because first come, first serve. And the only outlet there, the outlet of your department is yung sa SM. So yung mga maawa ko dito sa side sa Cotabato, lahat ng Cotabato doon sa Davao. Karamihan niya walang mga bahay. If you're applicant in Davao City, fine. But yun kung walang mahirap kasi karamihan dyan mga mura naghihiga lang dyan sa pavement. Nasasaktan talaga. Masakit. Yung buong gabi magtayasal hanggang magbukas yung SM kasi first come, first serve. Kasabi ko, well, that is addressing to all of the cabinet members. Make use of the computer. I do not want to see people lining up under the heat of the sun. I do not want people lining up under the rain na mga brado. And I want itong labor, wala na ito sa script. Yung prompter natutulog na siguro, kapindot-pindot yan. Alam mo, andyan naman yan. Sabi ko, what I want is a journal. When the applicant presents the documents, give him a shopping list. Do not add or get anything away from it. Yun na yan final. And when he complies with that, that is good. Wag mo na siyang pabalikin. Kasi kung magtawag yan ng 888, may God, puntahan ko talaga kayo. Yan ang bisyo ko nung mayor ako. Make in a difference, mayor, presidente. Puntahan talaga kita at hiyain kita sa maraming tao. And I would publicly ask you, what the hell happened to the procedure? Pupuntahan ko talaga kayo. Local, barangay, police, military, lahat. Bigyan mo ng shopping list, huwag mo nang pabalikin. Because pag magtawang ng 888 yan, tapos makita ko na the grievance is valid, bahala ka anong walang panahon, pupuntahan kita sa opisina mo and I will ask you. Bakit? Bigyan mo ng stub. You have to employ actuarial ability. That's easy. Pero pagtangkap ng tao, I'm addressing myself under me. Journal. Papirmahin mo siya. Lagyan mo doon, tignan mo sa computer. Kung mag-connect ka doon sa actuarial, hindi mo kailangan ng bubo dyan eh. Kasi matatapos siguro yan mga next month. Tapos na. Projections lang naman. Kung balik ka dito, August 15, 3 o'clock. Pagdating, bagay mo. Now, if it goes to Malacanang, I'll open it up. For those who have valid reasons to complain about graft and corruption, the gates of Malacanang will be open. Doon ka. Magsumbong ka. At I will be briefed by my military or aid or yung itong nagbigay ng tubig. Sir, dito marami ka. So, and the reason why I do not go out, I do not accept invitations. Hindi ako nagtumatanggap because every time I traveled around Manila, it causes a huge congestion. Kasi pag itong pag-uwi ko, di go also by projection. Paglabas ni Presidente, picture taking, ganun. And they start to block yung roads access to the, ganun yan. Every time ang President noon, ganun yan. So paparahin nila yan, sabihin nila, dadaan yan by this time. And in the meantime, sirado yan. Di paglabas ko, kala mo Verde Santo. Walang sasakyan dyan. Ito pala, exponentially, ang traffic, the tail end of the traffic is somewhere 5 km. And it would take about 2 to 3 hours to normalize. Kaya hindi ako tumatanggap ng, and I hate to travel. Kasi talagang lilinis yan eh. Ito namang, kasi ang taas kasi ng, ang turas ng Presidente sila. Doon sa dulo may ambulansya. Hindi na ang turak, parang kurtas ng, sa sabi ko, sabi ko, 2, 3 tama. Nasa gitna lang ako. Pero ang totoo, mag-taxi lang ako dito sa likod. Sunod lang ako. Takot ba sila na, ano man makuha mo kung patayin mo ako? What for? May ambulansya ko. Dagdagan mo doon na punerarya. I have also ordered DFA to streamline documentary requirements and passport applications and open additional consular offices in strategic places to decongest Metro Manila sites and avoid queues that have caused hardships and suffering to passport applicants. I have also ordered the newly created DICT, Information and Communication Technology, to develop a national broadband plan to accelerate the deployment of fiber optics cables and wireless technologies to improve internet speed. Ito para ito sa alam ko, mahal kong mga kababayan, maligayahan kayo nito. Pagpaano mo lang yung Tagalog ko kasi kayo, hindi kayo marunong magbisaya. Wi-Fi access shall be provided at no charge in selected public places, including parks, plazas, public libraries, schools, government hospitals, train stations, airports, and seaports. Diba? Happy lahat. All government agencies are instructed to enable their clients to submit applications for coordination, other agencies combined. Taas mo, wala na yan. Ayaw na magsalita. In the national portal, yes, because it's our parang website. Ito, we shall intensify, mainit talaga ako dito. I place it in parity with drugs. We shall intensify our war against human traffickers and illegal recruiters that prey on our migrants. To help ensure that the hard-earned money of the Filipinos overseas are put into productive use, a mandatory financial education for all migrants and their communities will be pursued with intensive courage and entrepreneurship among them. I may now also ask on Congress to consider drawing up bills consolidating and merging agencies and offices having to do the overseas Filipino to have a department that shall focus on and quickly respond to the problems and concerns. Kailangan mo ng isa. And I have asked, I don't know, Secretary Bello is here. Bebot. Wala. Absinero talaga yan. Kasi sa cabinet absinero yan. Gusto ko, he will will lease some buildings near for overseas only. At lagyan ko na i-direct all, BIR, lahat na, BIR, lahat something to do with the clearances of the police in one building, may booth lang. I said, my God, make use of the computer. So doon lang siya mag-ikot sa isang building. Ang Pilipino, di na siya magpunta doon sa statistics, di na siya punta doon sa dyan sa office niya. Gamitin ninyo ang computer and you can get the results right after. Why do he has to travel to Malate, then he has come with the traffic? He can only accomplish one document at one time. And BI clearances, doon na ninyo bigay. Lahat na doon na. At kung dapat, may awa o sibilyo, pakainin niyo yung mga tao doon. Lalo na sa probinsya. Pag tingin ninyo taga-probinsya, finish it right away. Make use of the computer. O pag hindi nyo ginamit, tapon na lang ninyo. Throw away your computers, and I understand that. It would take you years to do it. Do the computers. Taas mo na, wala na yan. Ito, to help avoid squatter-like conditions in relocation site, we urge utilities like Meralco and electric cooperatives exercise their social corporate responsibility by making direct connections to relocation sites and depressed areas. Alam mo kung bakit? Hindi na nilagyan nila dyan eh. That's why I had to talk to you ganito. Bakit? It's because walang kurente pagka mahirap ka. You do not own the land. The city engineer would not. That is my experience, 23 years as mayor. Hindi magbigay ng direct connection. Kasi hindi ko may-ari ng lupa. But that squatter there has been there for 20 years. So mag-connect sila. Pagka-connect nila, ang gamitin nila yung wire na, yung pinakamura. So it overheats because connect na lang sila kung sino yung minsan magnakaw. You know, we will have to make the adjustments. It is not for these people to make the corrections because they are not in a position to do it. We have to adjust to the needs of our people. Total yan naman yung as a squatter na yan, as long as I sit there as president, there will be no demolitions without relocations. Di talaga pa yan. Hindi naman aso yan na, just like in Davao. I'd like to make a dialogue with the businessmen. Sir, how much are you investing in this land you have bought with this squatters? So I bought it at about 60 million. Dagdagan mo ng 20 million. So, ako na ang bahala. Sabihin ko doon sa mga tao, bili tayo ng relocation site or I will provide. Government will expropriate. I will make use of the expropriation powers. Ako ganun sa Davao eh. I have 20 hectares there. I will expropriate some land there. Yung malapit lang. Then sabihin ko, this 20 million will help your journey to a new land. And I will urge everybody na yung mga bagong mga factories, doon sila magtayo. Magtiis-tiis lang muna kayo. In the meantime, you have to mitigate the hardships of these people. That's the only way to do it. Pero yung sabi of demolition, walang matirahan ng tao. Total, you sat on your rights for many years. Bakit mo ngayon pipilitin mo ako makaproblema ng ganun? May iba kasi hinahayaan nila for 10, 20 years, they do nothing. And when the time comes na pagbili lang nila, tayo nga disturbuhin. O di gumastos ka, para mas madali. Just add a little bit more. And there will be at least peace. Pag hindi, wala yan. Fight na naman yan between government and the tawag nila squatters. Squatters man talaga yan. Masasaktan lang, mamatay for no reason at all. Kung mayaman ka, bigyan mo naman ng kunting provide a relocation, and I'd be glad to talk to the people and say, go, it is not yours. I have directed the concerned regulatory agencies to prioritize the issuance of required permits for power development. Okay yan sa akin. Ang problema, sandali na to. Para ka dyan. Yung mga environmentalist, meron tayong kasi marang yung coal, pati itong energy emissions. Wala man akong problema dyan. But do not tell me na if you, ambassador ka tapos sabihin mo sa akin na medyo hanggang lang dyan kayo kasi kami hanggang dito lang kami. Ano? Kayo umabot dyan, you are now in the apex of your industrial might. But along the way, you were the first America, China, Europe. Kayong bumabog ka. Until now, we contribute only something 0.0. So if you put so much restrictions doon sa treaty na yan, the treaty which we are trying to, it's still here in the Senate. Let us be very clear on this. We need to industrialize. We need the power. And therefore, the emissions would also be considered. I just can say if I establish 5 economic zones here, and you start to say that you're spewing so much carbon footprints, mahirap yan. I mean, it's hard. I cannot just agree on anything that will delay. I'm only good for 6 years. And tend to do something during my term. Now, I'm sure that the heavy machineries would come in, and even the power. Cheapest is coal. So ito naman, locally, you get in trouble with Gina. So we'll just talk sa cabinet na lang. Si Gina naman is a very fine lady. Huwag ka lang magsimangot sa harapan yan. Bigyan kanya permit, baski 5. Magsimangot ka 0. All that she is to do is just be gracious to her. That's all. It's a matter of talking and explaining to them. But if it is you're using the state-of-the-art technology, and I've seen it several times in the other power plants in this country, if it is really a good one, then we will consider. I said, because we need the energy to power our industrialization. To strengthen delivery of social services, the government will intensify its protection programs so it can use its resources and expertise to make a dent in the country's poverty levels. What we want is genuinely to reduce the vulnerabilities of our people, build resiliency, and empower individuals and families and communities. The beneficiaries of our peace shall be made to become independent and self-reliant after they have graduated from the program. But as it is, we aim to present them with other forms of assistance so that they can stand on their own 2 feet. But now, I have decided to direct the DSWD to provide the rice subsidies to the poorest of the families, at least para makakain lang, every month. Sako na We are planning to increase spending on basic education and incorporate mandatory education about the evils of drugs. We will also intensify and expand alternative learning system programs. The government will also provide universal health insurance for all Filipinos. Benefits. Sali na lang natin sa PhilHealth. The professional competence and operational capabilities of government hospitals and health facilities will be strengthened. Consistent with our international obligations in keeping with national mandates, this administration vows to protect women's rights and human rights abuses against our women because it is unacceptable to me. Bugbog ka ng babae. As I order all agencies and oversight bodies and local government units down to the barangay level to fully implement the Magna Carta for women. By doing so, we will ensure that man and woman will be partners in the pursuit of country's economic, social, and cultural and political developments. To our Lumad brothers, and they are here outside, maybe outside. I mean, they're outside, I'm sure. I told the secretary just to let them come if they want. Kanila man to. To our brothers, I have this to say. The government has issued you the ancestral certificates to win. Title covering vast tracts of land, especially in the island of Mindanao. You have the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act and the National Commission of Indigenous Peoples to protect you and to assist you. Government has given you the tool, the legal tool to improve yourself financially, economically, and socially. Make use of your ancestral domain. Do not let it remain idle. While the government is always ready to help you, you must first help yourself. We cannot legislate financial and economic progress for you. It is you and you alone who can do that. You can chart your fate, but do it within constitutional and legal means. After being devastated by natural and man-made calamities this past few years, we are still to recover emotionally from the loss of our loved ones and materially from the loss of our homes and our income sources. There are many among us whose emotional wounds are still fresh and painful to the touch. We cannot erase the images of death and destruction from our minds. We cannot wash away the stench of rotting flesh from our noses, and there are many of us who are still waiting for the help that was promised. The enormity of the problem of drug addiction has been made manifest by the number of surrenderies which grows by the hundred each day that passes. Since July 1, we have already made 3,600 related drug arrests. 120 drug dependents have already surrendered, and 70,000 of them are pushers. You think this is just a it would take the entire resources of this government to fight this war. I have nothing but the interest of my country. But in its wake, because the PDEA says that that was a statement made by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. 2 years ago, PDEA came out with a statement that there are 3 million drug addicts in this country. That was 2 or 3 years ago. How do you think would be the number incrementally if we count now? Give it a liberal addition, maybe, lagyan mo na 7,000. So 3,700,000. The number is quite staggering and scary. The drug lords that you desperately want to strangle are not here. Wala mga bilyonaryo dito. The ones that you catch running after are just the lieutenants. They do it by technology. They're cooking it in the international waters. Tinatapo nila yung bulto by the drums. Dikitan nila ng GPS. So makikita ka. We are hard put sa intelligence because they've invented this direct satellite. Hindi na magdadaan niya ng... All they have to do is to triangulate where the pag-ikot niya. And there are so many... And they're in codes. If we do not help from our friends here in Asia and America and Europe, this sheer number and problem, believe me, will drown us as a republic. Kayo, tingnan niyo po. How can I solve the problem now by arresting? Hinahanap ko, tagal na akong presidente. Gusto kong patayin. Ang problema, pupunta pa ako doon, then I'll ask the permission from this country that I will go on because I have to slaughter these idiots who are destroying my country. Ganun yun eh. Hindi lang kasi naintindihan. Ayaw pa naman bitawan kasi ayaw naman kasi ng military pati police. But you know, I said, I'll be talking in front of the Republic to its representatives, to the people. So I have to tell you, how do we solve this problem? Tell me. Ako naman okay lang eh. Make it public, fine. Make it confidential. If you go to me or go to you, to your house, okay. But that is really the enormity of the problem. It's so enormous that you are intimidated even just to make a move. Because you know you cannot stop it anyway. Mabunggo mo isa ditong hinulog sa dagat, marami naman nagluluto doon. It's a free-for-all enterprise for the criminals at this time. Kung ako, if I had just the plan, I couldn't have. Sabi ko sa military, pag nakita ninyo, pasabugin mo na. Baski nag-surrender niya ng may white flag. Panggira lang yan, hindi yan pang kriminal. Pasabugin mo. Show no mercy to them because they are not doing any mercy to us anyway. Bakit ako Yan ang problema. But we should not despair. Like someone wrote, it is when the night is darkness that dawn breaks. We are imbued with resiliency that has been tested and proven. More difficult times as in the past. We have a bond to act together. We have to help each other, for then and only then can we truly prevail. And the Filipino, disciplined, informed, involved, shall rise from the rubbles of sorrow and pain, so that all the mirrors in the world will reflect the face of a passion that will change this land. Daghang salamat.